Hey y'all. Hey guys. Ignore my chin pimple, okay? Just had to say that first and foremost. Alright. So, I want to talk about why I consider myself a boop with the snoot opposer. I was gonna make a TikTok about this. I think I did. Yeah, I did. And then I just put it as a draft. I didn't upload it yet. Will I? I don't know. So I wanted to talk about that because I just started having like a whole bunch of thoughts about it. And I'm like, this could go on for a lot longer than 3 minutes, or I usually do a minute TikTok. But it could go on and on. It really could go on. Does it need to? Who's to say? Who's to say? So what I wanted to say, well, what I did say in the TikTok draft was I'm a boop the snoot opposer because I think that we should be giving dogs, and really all animals, okay, more autonomy over their own bodies. I personally think that I think most human beings in general don't think about their actions before they do it. They just do it, and so often they act very instinctual, you know? Especially what I've noticed is my generation and younger, like, we just act on instincts, okay? Sometimes, I mean, Gen X and older, I'm sorry, you guys don't even understand the level of, like, nonsensical stuff that we do in private, okay? Like, you don't even get it. I mean, maybe they do in private. How would I know? I don't think they do. But, I mean, it's kind of wild, actually. And I think a lot of the times we don't think about what we're doing before we do it. And I think a lot of people don't. I think all generations don't. And that's a problem. It's a problem. And I think that's connected to why we tend to be like that towards our animals. We touch their noses and their ears, and we squish their faces, and we see our dog coming into a room, and for some reason we decide to like rush over to them and start poking them. And when I say we, just want to make this known, most often when I say we, I never mean myself. I should start saying we when I mean things that I also do, but I don't do that. I just say we as a society. Sometimes I include myself in that, but usually we is like a collective. I don't know what that says about me, but anyway, yeah, like, and I noticed that we also, like, we like to do things, yet we believe the opposite. So, typically, what I've noticed is, especially in Western culture, we believe that animals are our family members, right? And we love our animals. We think animals are better than people most often. And we will rave and rave about how we love animals. We love the shelter animals. We want to save them. We want to help them. And it's like, okay, you love them and you believe that they're your family member, but you don't give them the opportunity to make decisions over their own body. Make it make sense. I don't know. So that's just sort of my thought on the thing. Like, I don't know. I'm like, if I believe that animals have the right to their own body, then I should not be touching them that way. If I believe that animals are a part of my family, then I should be teaching or treating them with respect. You know, if I believe animals are a living, breathing being, then why do I not treat it with respect? Now, this might be tied to the fact that I was vegan, vegetarian. I was always trying to be vegan. It was always like, I don't know, hard to do. But I was vegan vegetarian for 7-8 years. I'm not anymore. And that transition, let me tell y'all, if you don't know about this, listen up. The transition between being a vegetarian, vegan, and then eating meat again is so much harder than the other way around. So much harder. Because once you're a vegan vegetarian, and you know, for me, I was also Seventh-day Adventist. I still kind of consider myself, if I have to label myself as some sort of organized religion or organized whatever Christian. I would say, I guess I'm a Seventh-day Adventist. And I don't know if you guys know anything about them, but they have two big things. Okay, the first thing is going to church on the Sabbath, on Saturday. Okay, that's their Sabbath. The second thing is the food laws. Okay, they believe that Jesus died on the cross for them, but they still believe in the food laws. And they, coincidentally, like, because of that, like I should say, they are also vegan and vegetarian, because they also believe, like, should we really be eating meat in general? Because, you know, meat isn't really that good for you, all this stuff, okay? So I was also that. And that transition, eating meat, was really hard, because it wasn't just, oh, I'm eating meat now. It wasn't just, like, the diet stuff. It was everything, you know? It's, especially when it connects to your religion, it's like, wow, like, that's a whole new level of difficulty. Yeah, and you start, I mean, when you're a vegetarian and you're vegan, you start watching these videos about how these animals are mistreated, you know, and not just the farming going on, but also, should we even be doing this? Now, I don't want to get into that topic, because I now eat meat, and I have a whole new belief on this, but that part of me is still there, okay? That part of me who still, like, thinks, I mean, do we really say, like, how can we say we love an animal, but then, like, also actively believe that, well, what I want is far more important than your living condition, you know? Like, in this moment, I really feel like I want to be silly and just, like, poke you, and you're just gonna put up with it, because you're trapped in my house, and you live here, and this is all you've ever known. A little twisted, a little left up, if I'm being completely honest, in my own mind. And I think that a lot of people, they just don't think that through, maybe, and that they just kind of go off of their instincts and their whatever. Yeah. And I just think that's kind of interesting how we do that, you know, how we collectively as a society tend to do that. And I think a good depiction of this, of like how really messed up it is, but people don't realize how messed up it is that, and like people also excuse it, I should say, because they say like, my dog loves me. Yeah, well, that's the thing about dogs, okay? That's the thing about dogs, most dogs, that they like to be touched no matter what. You know, you can pretty much call them over at any time of day. You can give them a glance at any time of day, and they're like, huh? You want me to pet you? Or you want me to be pet? I don't know. You guys get what I'm saying. They're like, I feel like I'm really amped up. I just drank coffee, and I usually don't feel anything, but I'm like, my thoughts are like everywhere. Okay, so, but you know, like, you can do that with a dog, and that's, I think, why a lot of people say, it's fine. It is fine. My dog is fine. See, he likes it. Well, your dog likes attention, and you've taught your dog that that is attention. I mean, dogs are dogs. I mean, well, I don't even know if I believe that, but you know what I mean? Like, most dogs, our dogs, they're gonna like to be pet all the time. They're gonna like the attention no matter what. That's the way my Basset Hound was. Like, he, you know, I could look at him at any moment, any time of the day, and it was like, huh? Huh? Me? Right? Do you want to pet me right now? What? Like, always that. Like, huh? And Basset Hounds are super lazy, but he would get up. In his old age, he would get up, rickety crickety bones, and I'd be like, oh, I didn't even mean to look at you. Sorry. I'd be like, oh no, don't get up. Like, seriously, your bones are breaking actively. Like, just calm down, buddy. I'll go to you. But that's just how they are. A lot of dogs are like that. I tend to like the cat-like dogs, you know, who don't put up with the BS, okay? But I think a good accurate depiction of how we treat animals is cats. Really. Because, and also dogs that act like cats. Because really, I find it so funny because I hear so many people saying, like, it's perfectly fine. It's fine that I do that. That I boop my dog's snoot. Okay, he loves it. Or like they just poke their dogs and do weird crap with their dogs. And then, you know, dancing with them and just like kind of messed up stuff. And then they will say about their cats, my cat hates me. And it's like, yeah, like, of course your cat hates you. Because cats don't act like that. Like, cats aren't dogs. Dogs will put up with your crap, cats won't. Okay? So that's really, your cat's reaction to you is the most accurate depiction of how you're acting. You know what I mean? I rescued cats. Well, we as a family fostered and rescued cats many years ago. Many litters of cats, many types of cats. We would put them up for adoption. It was a whole thing. We had many cats. I have a lot of experience with cats. And it's just so funny how people will say, my cat doesn't know its name. My cat is so stupid. And then they don't realize that they're doing this, but like, they'll be like, my cat doesn't know its name. My cat hates me. My cat's such a butt face. Okay, then they give them all these nicknames that are like demeaning and degrading. And then, I'm sassy, I'm sorry. I mean, you can do, you know, what you want. It's whatever. Like, your family dynamic is your family dynamic. But that's what they'll do. You know, they'll give their cats all of these like demeaning, rude names. And they'll poke their cat, and they'll dance with their cat, and they'll, you know, pet it annoyingly, you know, and act like they don't understand why their cat hates them. And I always find it funny when they say, my cat doesn't know its name. That right there. If your cat doesn't know its name and it doesn't like come to you or at least like acknowledge you when you're calling its name, that's a problem. That's a red flag. Okay? Just putting that out there, because I mean, with all of the cats I've had, literally all of them, we, of course, as fosters, give them a name. Their owners or new owners are free to change those names, but we give them names. And we call, every time we've called them, they could be kittens, small kittens, and they get it fast. They get their name quick. And they turn on a dime. Now, you know, they're not going to come to you necessarily like a dog, but I mean, any time of the day I can call Frady's name and he's, huh? I mean, all of them were like that. Even the smallest kittens were like that. And it's just so funny to me. I feel like the name thing is like such a funny depiction. Like, yeah, your cat probably hates you for good reasons, you know? And you treat it like you treat your dog, and the way you treat your dog isn't even right. Like, it's just, yeah, like, I can't say that I relate to that. My pets know their name. All of them. You know? We even had bunnies and they knew their name. And it's just so funny how that is, isn't it? I don't know. But so I'm actively against booping the snoot. I'm a boop the snoot opposer. Okay? Okay. I don't know. I was gonna say more. I don't remember what I was going to say. I became very like jumbled and my thoughts were kind of like all over the place. So I hope I made mostly sense. Does that make sense? What else was I going to say? I should probably finish my coffee before I feel like coffee doesn't usually affect me. I'm one of those people who don't do this ever, but I used to drink coffee so often, so much throughout my day, I would drink it at midnight and then go to bed. So, which is a vibe. It's a whole vibe. Can you guys hear me drinking? That's ew. Sorry. I did it again, so I'm not really that sorry. My favorite thing ever in the world, I'll just go out and say it. I'll say absolutes today, that's fine. Is when there's little ice cubes at the bottom of your drink and they fit in your straw perfectly, and then you suck them up and it's like a little crunchy bit. So, anyway. Anywho. I do have more to say about it. I'm just trying to remember what I was going to say about that topic. I think that's why I gravitate towards dogs that act like cats so much. And I was just remembering this the other day, how I was the same way when I was a kid. And how some things are just so innate in us, I guess. Or some things truly never change. Or maybe they will. I mean, I'm only 25, so things might change. But it's funny how a lot of the same ways that I was when I was very small, I still feel today. And I tend to like dogs. I love dogs. I'm a dog enthusiast. I find dog breeds fascinating, pairing them up with their designated owners. I'm trying to upstart my dog TikTok, but I can't be in it right now. I just can't. I've got other things going on, but I've got to focus on my toxic mold stuff right now. My toxic mold detoxing page. Or at least, I don't know. I feel like I've got to, but Yahweh will guide me what I've got to do there. So, yeah. But I'm very fascinated in dog breeds, and yet somehow I tend to like the least doggiest dogs. Like my favorite dog breed, I don't know. I do go back and forth. I like a lot of different dog breeds, but the one that's always consistently stuck as my favorite the last several years, has been the Japanese Akita. I love them so much, and I respect them to such a high degree. And it's just so interesting how, if you guys don't know what a Japanese Akita is, because I'm sure, I mean, maybe you guys know what an Akita is, but there's American Akitas and Japanese Akitas. And the Japanese Akitas, they look similar, and they're related to a Shiba Inu, okay? But they're not as small and they're not as dainty. They're actually much larger than a Shiba. And they're not really like a Shiba, even though they are related. They're all a part of the 6 native Japanese dog breeds, the Nihon Ken. So, yeah. And, what else was I going to say? And oh, and Hachiko, you know, the movie Hachiko with Richard Gere, and it's like about this dog that waited at the train station for his owner after his owner died, and he waited there until his last doggy days. That dog was a Japanese Akita. So now you kind of know what a Japanese Akita is, sort of. But they're my favorite. And they are just one of the least doggy dogs, okay? They're very reserved, very dignified, very aloof to strangers, highly loyal. And they don't take crap from nobody, you know? And I love that. I tend to like the dogs that it's like, F around and find out, you know? Like, and I'm like, good for you. I also love the Chow Chow for the same reasons. You know, I think a lot of people look at the Chow Chow and they look at them and they think like, oh, it's like this cute, like fluffy little teddy bear. And like, I notice a lot of like glammy, wealthier type of people gravitate towards the Chow Chow. But to me, I'm like, every time I see a Chow Chow, I'm like, pop off, sis. You know what I mean? Like, you are fluffy, you are cute. Like, you're a little bit on the rarer side. I mean, I guess Akitas are too, but you're like a little bit on the rarer side, and all these people think you're just so adorable. But like, you could F things up if you wanted to. Like, good for you. And like, I met a Chow Chow the other day. I've met Chow Chows before, so this wasn't my first time, but I came across one that I'd been seeing downtown often, and I'm like, every time I see it, I'm like, I wonder, someday I want to meet that Chow. Now, my expectations were characteristic. Like, I knew what I was getting myself into because I know about Chow Chows. I've researched them. I love them. So I knew this Chow probably isn't going to give me the time of day, but I wanted to see what it was like. I wanted to see, is the Chow going to give me the time of day, or is this going to be like a different than what I think it's going to be like? And it was exactly as I expected, and I was like, yes, you go, girl. Like, you freaking go. You know, I went up to her, or well, I didn't just go up to her. I asked the owner, of course, and he said, you can try. I mean, I don't know if she will want to be petted, but you can try. And I put my hand just up to her nose just to see if she wanted to. This is what I do to my dog, to like see if she wants to put her head under and have me pet her, or if she just wants to sniff my hand. And the dog was like seriously, like, what are you doing? And then it kind of sniffed my hand and it like walked away. Like, girl, like what was that about? I don't even get it. And I love that. Sorry. And I love that for the dog. Like, afterward, I was like, absolutely. Give me nothing. Because that's how it should be. Ooh. That's exactly how it should be. And I love that. Not that all dogs should be that way, but that's how a Chow should be. And I think that's so cool. And I love that about those dogs. I really do. Now, there are people, and I see this all the time, there are people, of course, who pick on their Chow, or on their, I don't see it as often with Chow Chows, but I do see it a lot with Akitas, especially American Akitas. I see it all the time. People just like roughhousing with them, that treating them like they're a Rottweiler or something. And it's like, okay, I mean, like, you do you, you know, but I don't know. I think I just value dogs. I really do. I value dogs so much, and I value animals. And maybe in some areas, like, it's not necessary, you know? But in some areas, I think it's absolutely necessary that we value dogs to that degree, or animals to that degree. I'm also that person, and I thank God for this. I thank God that my mom raised us like this. I don't know. And I don't even know if we would have always been this way anyway, because my siblings are rather calm as well. So I don't, it might be my mom, nature versus nurture again. I feel like that topic comes up too often. But we were also these kids who never picked on animals ever. Like, we were not those kids to like see a pond and just like free for all, let's dive in, let's go. Or like seeing the ducks or the geese or the even the seagulls at a park and just start chasing them. We were never those kids. And I don't know, I think it's valuable that we teach our kids not to be that way, to like respect wildlife. Yeah, and I'm very thankful that my mom taught us that. Like, I still don't know if we would have just been like born that way or what, but it also was not accepted in our household. Like, oh, why would you do that? You know, like, because that's a living animal. Um, yeah, I wasn't raised vegan either, you know, so it wasn't like that. But but yeah, I think that's just so important. And so maybe that's just how I always was, but I don't think it's too late. It's not too late for you guys. You guys can be as good as me too. Just kidding. Obviously. But you guys could, I mean, I don't know. I hope my message reaches somebody out there who's been bothering their dog and helps them think about it in a different way. Because these dogs out here, man, they love you. They love you. That's why they tolerate it. But yeah, I don't know. I tend to like the dogs that have self dignity, you know, and who don't want to be petted all the time. You know, even my, which I respect this about her, but even my Pomeranian, well, she's a Pomeranian mix. She's like Pomeranian, Dachshund, and Chihuahua. And she isn't always about being pet. You know, she's her own person. She's like, eh. Like, I'll let you know when I want to be pet, and I think that's so cool of her. I do think it was really hard for me in the beginning because I was so used to Walter, our Basset Hound, who wanted to be pet all the time. Like, you literally could pet him all day and he'd be in heaven. But so I think I was used to that when I first got Sophie, and I felt the repercussions of it. Sophie was like, why are you touching me? Like, stop. Like, she wasn't mean, but she would always like avoid me to like just kind of be in her own space, even though I'm still me. I'm still like respectfully petting her, but she just was like, girl, like, I don't want to be petted right now, you know? And so it was definitely a learning, like, more of a learning thing for me lately, or the last several years of having her. It's like, oh, right. And I do respect that. I respect that about different animals, that they like their space. So, and maybe we shouldn't ever be poking dogs or animals, or like trying like silly trends that involve your animal's personal space being encroached on. I don't know. I think that could also be tied to like how we treat small animals, especially the worst. Truly, I mean, we treat cats and small dogs just horrendously. You know, and that's why we always see small dogs with such behavioral problems. You know, I mean, how often? I mean, everybody knows the trope of the vicious chihuahua, and it's like, I mean, yeah, because like their own. I mean, have you seen a chihuahua owner? They're treating them like they're a literal baby, And it's like, no, it really ain't like that. Like, you have this, like, powerhouse of a dog in a very small, helpless body. Just kind of interesting how that is. I don't know. Like, I almost think it'd be, I don't know, we should definitely be treating all of our dogs with the same level of respect, you know. Like, don't treat your chihuahua like it's a chihuahua. Treat your dog like, or treat your chihuahua like it's, I don't know. Treat your chihuahua like it's, what's a respected dog breed, like a German Shepherd or something. You know, where you're like, no, you know the rules. There is no exemption because you're tiny, you know. I think I'd like to see more examples of that. You know, I was just thinking about this the other day about how, like, okay, I let me finish the thought that I was going to have. I'd like to see more trainers, like dog trainers, have chihuahuas. I think that'd be pretty cool. Or like smaller dog breeds. Because I tend to see these trainers having the same dog breeds, and it's like, okay, we get it. And I want to see the chihuahuas. I want to see them having a pack of dogs and a chihuahuas in the mix, or like a couple small dogs. Likewise, I would also love to see more trainers having less biddable dog breeds. This is what I was just thinking about the other day, is how trainers tend to always have the same dog breeds. I mean, of course, trainers, we see so many trainers having border collies, and that's, I get it. It's fun seeing the level of intelligence that you can see a dog display. It's fascinating seeing your dog do exactly as you've asked it and see it do a million different tricks and being like, wow, my dog. It's like a visual representation of like how much your dog's retaining, I guess, for some people. Or I see a lot of people having the Cane Corso, and I see a lot of people having the Belgian Malinois, and I'm like, okay, this might offend a lot of people, but I have this theory, because those are two breeds that I haven't seen. I mean, I've seen them come up more recently. Like the last 10 years, I've seen those breeds come up, right? And where previously, I mean, I maybe have heard of them, but I not to this degree. Like, I've actually seen a Belgian Malinois in my city a couple times, and I think that that's like pretty crazy because I don't even live in a huge city. So it's pretty wild, the increase of those dog breeds. But I was thinking the other day, and this might offend people, and maybe it's not true, it's just my little like hee that's funny. But like, I almost think that like, because back in the day, the scary dog breed, like back like in the 90s, I'm talking. In the 2000s, the scariest dog breed was the pit bull. But now everybody loves them, okay? Everybody gets that most people get that the pit bull is a sweet dog, sure. Everybody loves the pit bull now. Everybody loves them. They pro rescue, pro bully, whatever. And in the 90s, the scariest dog breed was the German Shepherd. At least from what I've seen in my experience. I mean, this could be completely wrong. This is just coming out of my left ear. I don't know. So that's kind of interesting how now we're seeing an uprising. Like, to me now, German Shepherds in the dog space are kind of seen as like, like, they're not really that intimidating, you know? And if you get a working line German Shepherd, like, yes, it's intimidating, but they're still not as popular as the Belgian Malinois right now for trainers. And so I always think that the Belgian Malinois is like the new German Shepherd, even though I'm sure the breed has been around, could be even longer than a German Shepherd. I wouldn't know. Okay? But I think it's interesting. Like, the popularity is becoming, they're becoming the new German Shepherd, which I find to be fascinating. And I don't know what the Cane Corso is, but it's also new. Is that going to be the new Pit Bull? I don't think so. The Pit Bull's not going anywhere. But it's the new something. Maybe it's the new Rottweiler. I don't know. Because I don't see a whole lot of Rotties going around either lately. And that's kind of interesting. But yeah, I don't know. It's kind of interesting how those breeds are becoming more popular. And I would like to see trainers having less biddable dog breeds. I would like to see trainers training the Akita. I never see, even American Akita, I never see trainers actively owning Akitas. And I'm like, why? Do you not like a challenge? Like, to me, like, if I were a dog trainer, like a professional dog trainer, yes, I think it'd be great to have a dog that's very biddable, easily trainable, loves you, loves to work, can retain a lot of information. But I also think it's super valuable to have a dog that's harder to train, a little bit of a challenge, one that's very independent, one that's renowned for being difficult, and having it being sort of the showcase for the breed. I think that'd be really cool. I don't see that. I also don't see them having little dogs. I also don't see them having Shiba Inu, you know what I mean? Why is that? Why is that? I mean, I don't know. It's definitely a different vibe, you know what I mean? Like, having a Shiba Inu would be, and like any of the Nihon Ken really would be such a different vibe than, like, I don't know, a Cane Corso, a Doggo Argentino, you know what I mean? Like, anyway. Yeah, anyway. I think that's all I wanted to say. I really wish I saw more trainers training Akitas, because in my research, it's been difficult to find, you know? But I also find it funny because, like, there's just so little information about them than what needs to be done out there. Because I've researched the breed for a long time. And the research out there is, I mean, it's hard. It's really hard to find. And, I don't know. They are just so much different than a lot of the more dominant dog breeds out there. And I saw a documentary TV, which I used to think that he was like, okay, like, he's got a lot of subscribers, okay, like, he's pretty, he interviews a lot of dog breeders. Fascinating channel. I was a subscriber. I might not have unsubscribed, I don't, but okay, I'm just gonna share my gripe with you before I leave. Okay, I watched this channel maybe last month, and he made a video about the Akita, the American Akita, of course. I never see people talk about the Japanese Akita, ever. But in it, I was just so blown away, because I'm like, oof, you have no idea, buddy. He was talking about how much he's getting into the American Akita, how he thinks that they're really cool. And then towards the end of the video, it's like only a 4-minute video too, and towards the end of the video, he says something like, well, as you guys know, I've been really into the Rottweiler, I've been really into the Cane Corso, or maybe it's the Doggo Argentino that he's into, I don't remember, but he's been really into those powerhouse dogs. And he's like, And, you know, the Akita's pretty much like that, but with the long fur. And I'm like, oh, honey, like, you have no idea. And I don't even know how you're able to say that, having interviewed so many different dogs, like dog breeds and stuff. Like, you get into some groups, okay? Get some conversation going, because they are so unbelievably different from each other. Like, the Akita is a whole different breed. Like, even as I started researching them, in the beginning of researching them, I thought that too. I kind of thought, like, okay, it's going to be kind of like a fluffy Rottie. It's going to be kind of like, I don't know, it's going to be like these tougher dog breeds, you know? I mean, it's not a Molosser. It's not a bully breed, but it's like a fluffy, like, tougher dog breed. It is a whole different thing, buddy. Like, a whole different thing. Like, I don't, like, I don't know. It just really rubbed me the wrong way. I was like, dude, you have so many subscribers and you're just saying that? It's so, like, I couldn't, cringe. I was cringing at it, truly. Because it's just, they're not. And even while researching them, I've been very like, wow, this is really intense. Because I've also researched Rotties in the past, quite a bit, actually, because one of my family members loved Rottweilers. So I've spent plenty of time researching them, and plenty of time researching Mastiffs, Bull Mastiffs, French Mastiffs, you name it. And I've never come across, I've even researched, I've researched so many breeds because I'm a dog enthusiast, but there has never been a breed that I have even remotely met that's come close to an Akita. And it's like I'd say Akitas are more akin to the Chow Chow than they would ever be to a Rottie, truly. And I think that's something that people don't understand. I think they look at an Akita, especially the American Akitas, and they think, oh, they're like this tough dog. And I tend to notice that the same people who own American Akitas also are interested in Rottweilers. Growing up, I knew a lot of people who were interested in the American Akita, and they all were very interested in Rottweilers and even German Shepherds. And it's like, buddy, like, you have no idea what you're getting yourself into, because they're so much more cat-like. And they don't really, I mean, they have that loyalty, but you really have to train them well, or because they don't really care about serving you. They're self-serving. And the Rottie, I mean, come on, buddy. The Rottie loves you. Like, are they really the same? Like, come on. To say they're just a fluffy Rottweiler or fluffy Dogo Argentino is just like, get over yourself, buddy. Like, you need to do more research. Anyway, me just trashing this person who will literally never see my video, literally, because he's got millions of subscribers. And I am doing, what, a 40-minute vlog? Like, anyway. I don't even know how that connected to anything, but glad you stuck around if you did stick around. And those are my thoughts today. Goodbye.